Things are about to get a little shaky, Leo, and if you've been feeling it already, you're not imagining things. As we move toward Mercury retrograde, it can feel like the universe has turned the volume up on the small disruptions, the missed calls, the miscommunications, the why is everything suddenly complicated. Moments that poke at your nervous system and make you question your footing. Officially, this retrograde period begins in the final days of February, but the truth is, the energy tends to arrive early like a storm you can smell in the air before the first drop hits. And I feel it lingering, unfolding, teaching, testing, all the way through the end of March. This is the kind of cosmic weather that doesn't always arrive as one dramatic event. Sometimes it looks like chaos. Sometimes it sounds like static. It's the little things going wrong in ways that feel almost personal, like life is tapping you on the shoulder, asking, are you still centered when the external world gets loud? And that's why I wanted to bring you a message, something your soul can hold on to as we travel through this charged season. So, welcome in, my beautiful Leo friends. I'm grateful you're here. Whether you've been with me for a while or you're brand new to this space, hello and welcome. My name is Jimmy, and together we're going to open the door to spirit, invite in clarity, and listen for what your inner world is trying to tell you. Before anything else, your guardian angels are stepping forward, and their energy is unmistakable. Their first message is simple and steady: you are protected, and you are safe as you move through this retrograde. Even if the outer world feels messy, even if your mind starts spinning with what-ifs, there is a deeper current beneath you, holding you, and the theme they bring is transformation. Not the kind of change that stays cosmetic, not the kind that fades in a week. This is the kind of shift that rewrites your timeline. They're saying life-altering changes can be created now. But here's the key: it demands something of you. It asks you to expand your skills, to trust and use your intuitive wisdom, and to step outside the comfort zone you've outgrown. The message is clear. Leo, take the leap, because I can feel that there's something you've been thinking about, something you've been quietly desiring, maybe even something you've been postponing because the timing never felt perfect. Mercury retrograde rarely delivers perfection. What it delivers is truth. It shows you where you've been playing small, where you've been hesitating, where you've been waiting for a sign while the sign has been waiting for you to move. This moment isn't here to scare you. It's here to activate you. And then Spirit sends you a guide, a symbol that feels both playful and precise: the Meerkat King. If you've seen a meerkat recently, consider it a confirmation. If you haven't, you're seeing one now, and that matters too. Because the message it carries is bold and bright. Be adventurous. Try something unusual, something you've never considered before, something that surprises even you. Because that different choice, the one that feels slightly risky, slightly unfamiliar, could be the exact doorway into a new and exciting direction. Mercury retrograde has a reputation for being a trickster, but it can also be a teacher. And in your case, it isn't asking you to hide, it's asking you to explore, to play with the energy instead of fearing it, to become curious again, to discover something you didn't know you needed. When we move into the tarot, the first energy that rises is the King of Cups. And Leo, this is powerful. This isn't just a card, it's a reminder that your greatest strength in the coming weeks is emotional mastery, not emotional suppression mastery. The King of Cups knows how to feel deeply without drowning in the feeling. He knows how to hold steady when the waters around him shift. And that's what Spirit is asking of you, to keep your emotional body, your inner ocean, anchored in peace. Because retrograde energy will try to pull you into reactivity. It will test your patience through the small inconveniences. It will provoke you through misunderstandings that could have been avoided on any other day. But you, Leo, are being invited into a higher kind of power. Calm confidence, grounded courage, steady strength. Then comes the blade of truth, the Ace of Swords. This is clarity cutting through fog. It's a vision sharpening inside you like a dream finally coming into focus. Your mind is potent right now. Your thoughts are not casual. They are creative forces. And Spirit is urging you to guard the quality of your inner dialogue. Because what you feed your mind becomes the frequency you broadcast, and that frequency becomes what the world reflects back. And that's why we also see the energy of mental entrapment, what you named as the Eight of Swords, the feeling of being stuck in your own thoughts, caught in loops, turning possibilities into prisons. Retrograde can amplify this if you let it. But the Ace of Swords is your remedy: truth, clarity, discernment. The ability to say, no, this thought doesn't get to live in me rent-free. And then deep and ancient appears the Hierophant. This is where your reading becomes more than what's happening. This becomes who you are becoming. The Hierophant speaks of sacred knowledge, inner initiation, wisdom earned through depth. I keep seeing an image, almost cinematic, like someone descending into the ocean in a submarine suit, traveling downward into the dark, not to fear it, but to learn from it. Leo, you have a rare ability to dive into the depths, into complexity, into emotion, into mystery, and come back up with something useful, something healing, something that becomes light for others. And because the Hierophant is major arcana, this isn't a fleeting mood. This is a prominent cycle. For some of you, it will be loud, impossible to ignore. For others, it will move quietly in the background, shaping you in subtle ways until one day you look back and realize, I'm not the same person I was. Spirit also brings through numbers 14, 1, and 5 like little light codes flickering in your reality. You may see them on clocks, receipts, street signs, timestamps, pages. Let them be gentle confirmations that you're connected to the message, that something unseen is walking with you through this. And remember, this is a general reading. We all live different lives, and the cards will meet each of you in your own language. If something doesn't resonate, you're allowed to leave it behind without guilt. And if you want the fuller picture, check your moon, rising, and Venus signs, because sometimes they are the missing pieces that make everything click. And before we go deeper, I want you to do something as the cards appear in your mind. Interpret them with your own intuition. Let your inner knowing speak first. This strengthens your intuitive channel, and it opens a space where you don't just receive messages, you remember your own wisdom. Because what I'm feeling underneath all of this, especially with the King of Cups, is layered. There's father energy here, divine masculine energy, a steady presence that says, you're not alone, you're guided, you're being shaped for something bigger. So as Mercury retrograde stirs the air and tests the edges of your patience, don't mistake that shaking for punishment. Sometimes the universe shakes what's unstable so you can finally build something true. And Leo, this season isn't here to diminish you. It's here to initiate you. You are safe, you are protected, and you are standing at the threshold of transformation. This is the part of the journey, Leo, where you are no longer standing still, you're in motion. You're moving, choosing, taking action in your world. And what stands out most right now is not just what you're doing, but where you're doing it from. Your emotional center, your heart space, the place inside you that knows before your mind can explain. I feel your focus is being gently drawn back to how you're truly feeling, how your body is responding to what's unfolding around you. Not in a way that makes you obsessive or hyper alert, but in a quieter, more refined way, like a well-trained inner radar. It doesn't scream. It doesn't panic. It simply signals, and the wisdom is in this. When the alert goes off, you listen. You don't ignore it. You don't override it. You honor it. And I sense you've come to a place where this is something you've already learned. You've already been practicing it maybe without even realizing how far you've come. There's mastery here, a steadiness, a deeper relationship with your own nervous system. Leo, your body has been communicating with you through energy shifts, intuition, timing, even through the subtleties of tension and release. It's been speaking its truth in a language you now understand. This Mercury retrograde, though, is tapping directly into your communication, how you send messages and how you receive them. That's the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords working together, sacred knowing meeting sharp clarity. It's the power you hold in your ability to see something internally like a vision forming in the mind's eye and then speak it into reality with intention. There's something almost alchemical about the way you can visualize, name, and then shape what happens next. And Spirit is bringing this gift closer to the front of your awareness now, as if to say, use it more, trust it more, because it's not random, it's not wishful thinking. It's a tool you're meant to lean on during this retrograde, especially as you create what you're trying to create. Your words, your focus, your clarity, they're supporting the next chapter you're building. Now, with the King of Cups, I'm also seeing something personal, something that feels like it reaches back into your roots. Father energy, a figure who is incredibly strong, perhaps emotionally complex, perhaps not present in all the ways you needed, and yet still deeply impactful. I feel an edge here like love braided with disappointment, like devotion mixed with frustration. A relationship that may carry a shadow of I wish it had been different. But what I feel most strongly is release. Like you're arriving at a point where a weight you've been carrying quietly, privately has become too heavy to keep holding. And the medicine showing up is forgiveness. Not forced. Not rushed. Not performative. The real kind, the kind that is an inner decision to stop bleeding from an old wound. Forgiveness, Leo, is always personal. It's always your journey. But if you've been sensing that there's something you're ready to let go of because you know that letting it go will allow you to finally move forward, then this may be your moment to begin healing whatever this is. Not because what happened didn't matter, but because your future matters more. I'm also seeing the classic Mercury retrograde signature. Friction, miscommunication, crossed wires, energy that feels just slightly off. And along with that, dreams. Vivid impressions. Your imagination turning up like a radio at night. Because this retrograde is also moving through Pisces energy, which speaks to the mind realm, the dream realm, the foggy space where images and stories can feel so real that your body reacts as if they are happening. You may find yourself playing out different scenarios in your head, building entire stories from a single detail, and then reacting emotionally to the story you created. And the key is, you might not even realize you're doing it. That's why Spirit is bringing it into your awareness, not to shame you, but to wake you up gently. Because underneath those imagined scenarios, there's something real trying to surface. A truth, a pattern, a feeling you're finally ready to understand. And yes, when truth rises, it can hit the nervous system first. It can ripple through your emotional body. That's why grounding becomes essential right now. Feet on the earth. Breath in the body, presence in the moment. You've already mastered your emotional landscape more than you give yourself credit for. But even the most emotionally skilled people get knocked off center sometimes. Even the strongest hearts have moments where the wave hits unexpectedly. And in those moments, the practice isn't perfection, it's remembrance. It's that quiet inner voice that says, oh yeah, I can do this. I've done this before. I know how to come back to myself. I will breathe through this. I will not let external chaos recruit my spirit. I will not match that energy. And then beautifully, there's an offering, an exchange, something mutual, something compatible, a meeting of energies where something meaningful can form. This feels connected to the Meerkat King, the invitation to be adventurous, to lean into the unfamiliar. And with the Ace of Swords beside it, it's like something is being claimed, etched into the subconscious like a signature on a contract only your soul can read. This is your subconscious speaking. A decision you may have made quietly, maybe even privately, but it has weight. It's undeniable now. It's as if you crossed a threshold and something in you said, this is it. I'm choosing this path. And the universe responded. I feel like you cut through something. You sliced through confusion. You saw the truth, and you walked through it clean, direct, unwavering. Maybe you released something you'd been holding on to for too long. Maybe you finally told yourself the truth you couldn't unsee, and now it's sealed. Signed, there's no going back, not because you're forcing it, but because you've outgrown the old version of the story. And I'll tell you what Spirit wants you to remember most right now. Actions will speak louder than words. Let that land wherever it belongs in your life. Because even as your words carry immense power and they do what you do next will define the reality you're stepping into. Your words are not casual, Leo. When you speak, it's like waves moving outward from your mouth, traveling through the world, touching everything around you. Sometimes your truth cuts cleanly like a blade, and that can be a gift. But it's also a reminder. Communicate with intention. Be mindful of the energy behind what you say. Be mindful of what you're declaring into existence. Because during this retrograde, your voice is not just a tool, it's a force. And when you align your words with your heart, your clarity with your compassion, your vision with grounded action, that's when transformation stops being a concept and becomes your reality. And with this card, Leo, I can feel it. There's passion here. Heat, fire, something inside you that isn't meant to stay hidden anymore. It's like a flame that's been carefully contained for a long time, not because it isn't real, but because at some point you learned it was safer to hold it back. Safer to soften your truth, safer to swallow what wanted to rise. But now that energy is pressing forward. It feels like there's something you've been trying to express, something important, yet the message keeps getting lost on the way to the other person. You're speaking, you're trying to communicate clearly, but on the receiving end, it's being misunderstood, twisted, or simply not received in the way you intended. And that creates friction. Not always loud friction. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, the kind that shows up as tension in your chest or a knot in your stomach. The kind that leaves you wondering, why does it feel like I'm not being heard? And Mercury retrograde loves to reveal these places. I'm seeing it especially through text messages and online communication, those moments where a sentence can be read in 10 different tones, where silence can feel like rejection, where delays can feel like distance, miscommunication, misunderstanding, even ghosting. That strange hollow pause where you don't know what to make of the absence, so your mind tries to fill it in with stories. And it can feel shaky, can it? Like walking through weather you didn't expect, like a storm moving through your emotional sky. So here is what Spirit wants you to remember as you move through this. Let yourself feel what you feel. Let the emotions rise. Let them have their moment in the body. Not because you have to fix them, not because something is wrong with you, but because feelings are information, and when you allow them to move, they stop becoming a cage. The invitation is to observe without reacting, to notice the emotion without immediately turning it into action, without firing back a message, without trying to force clarity out of someone who isn't ready to understand. Just observe, breathe, let it move through you like a wave instead of becoming the ocean you drown in. Because the Ace of Swords is coming in strong for you, Leo, almost like a lightning strike of truth. There's something you are meant to know. And it arrives with that unmistakable feeling, clarity, sudden, sharp, undeniable. And it may even be arriving through the dream world. Some of you may have been dreaming about knives or swords, or waking up with that sensation that something has been cut open in your awareness. It can happen so quietly, too. You could be lying on the couch, staring at nothing, and then click. Something lands. A realization, an intuitive download. You sit up, like your soul just snapped the lights on. These are not random thoughts. This is your intuition speaking in a clean, direct language. Your connection to Spirit is incredibly strong right now. It feels like the world is more open, like the air between realms is thinner, like the veil is sheer enough that you can sense what's beneath the surface: energy, intention, truth. And you may also find that Spirit is communicating with you as much as you are reaching for it. Signs, synchronicities, sensations, messages that arrive in the body before they arrive in words. And I'm hearing something else to someone loud. It could be you, Leo, or it could be someone around you. A voice that rises not out of aggression, but out of a deep need to be acknowledged. Sometimes people speak loudly because they feel invisible. Sometimes they push because they believe no one is listening. And Spirit wants you to know, you are heard. You don't have to shout. You don't have to fight to be understood. You don't have to battle for your place in the room. Because here's the truth I'm sensing. Something has already worked. Something you set into motion is already taking shape. The seed is in the ground. The roots are forming beneath the surface. And it's almost like you're not in that old fight anymore. You've stepped out of it. You've left it behind. That battlefield isn't your home. That version of you straining for validation, proving your truth doesn't have the same hold on you now. And something is about to land. Where confusion once lived, where your words were being misinterpreted, where there was static in the line, clarity is coming. The message will be heard. It will make sense. And the moment it does, I feel a shift, like a seal clicking into place. Like something is etched into reality. Claimed. Confirmed. Final. The Hierophant appears again here, and it's not subtle. This is expansion within your consciousness. The ability to see more, understand more, perceive the world through a higher lens. It can feel like an awakening, not one dramatic flash, but a series of small, incremental downloads. Little pieces of information that arrive at the perfect time, each one lifting you slightly higher. Each one widening your perspective as you ascend through your spiritual experience on Earth. And Leo, you know a lot. You feel a lot. You have a gift. And it is uniquely yours. It's not meant to be compared. It's not meant to look like anyone else's. You're not supposed to measure it against other people's intuition, other people's abilities, other people's paths. There is something about honing it, learning the language of it, studying it, researching it, practicing it until it becomes mastery. Because I can see that when you're within the frequency of this gift, you come back to peace. You come back to calm. It's like your nervous system recognizes it as home. And spirit keeps showing me this sensation of being taken somewhere beyond the ordinary, like outer space. That feeling of floating beyond the noise of daily life, beyond the heaviness of human tension, into a realm where everything feels connected, where you are one thread in a vast, living tapestry. For some people, that doorway is meditation. For some, it's nature. For some, it's art. For some, it's music, the kind that pulls you out of the mind and into pure experience. And that's what the Hierophant feels like for you. Immersion. A sacred shift in consciousness, a tuning of your awareness until you can retrieve information, feel the truth behind things, and then translate it beautifully into something you can communicate. It's like an intertwining of energies, an understanding of what's beneath what's being said, an ability to walk into a situation and sense the real story without anyone needing to explain it. And right now, Spirit is showing me trees, a forest, not one tree alone, but many, woven together, roots intertwined beneath the soil, communicating quietly, sharing resources, holding each other up in ways the eye can't see. And that is your message, Leo. You are connected in ways you don't always recognize. You are supported in ways you can't always prove. And your gift, your awareness, your intuition, your voice can move through the world like the wind through that forest, unseen but undeniable. So trust what's rising, trust what's being revealed, and let your truth be expressed not as a fight, but as a knowing. And do you see how those trees stand together, how, beneath the surface, they're not truly separate at all? A forest isn't just a collection of trunks and leaves. It's a living network. The roots reach out, weave into one another, and share what the eye can't see. When one tree is in distress, it doesn't suffer in silence. It signals. It sends a message through the underground web: I need water, I need support, I'm weakening, and the other trees respond. They redirect resources, they communicate, they help the one that's struggling survive. That's exactly how this Hierophant energy feels for you right now, Leo. A sacred system of communication, interpretation, exchange, the subtle transmission of information between you and others, between you and your own deeper knowing, and between you and spirit. It's the sense that life is speaking in layers and symbols, and you're learning how to read the language. And yes, this is also where Mercury retrograde can interfere. Retrograde doesn't always crash into your life with a dramatic headline. Sometimes it arrives as small delays, crossed wires, missed cues, or little everyday mishaps that seem designed to throw your rhythm off. It can put a damper on communication, create misunderstandings where there shouldn't be any, or slow things down just enough to make you question your timing. But what I want you to know is this: your life is expanding. You're in a growth period, a stretch season. And one of the clearest signs is that you may feel more inspired than normal, more creative, more reflective, more aware of what does and doesn't fit anymore. Mercury retrograde has a strange kind of grace when you stop fighting it. It becomes a force that reorganizes you from the inside out. It rearranges the furniture of your mind. It invites you to review, revise, refine, to see your world through a different lens. And it can feel like everything slows down a little, not to punish you, but to help you notice, to help you recognize what you've been rushing past. I've been feeling this too in my own world. My moon is in Leo, so this energy touches me in a personal way. And lately, I've had this desire to completely redecorate my studio. Not just a minor change, but a full revamp. I created a whole vision for it, ordered everything I need, and now I'm in that in-between space waiting for it all to arrive before I bring it to life. But what's interesting is the deeper feeling underneath it. A creative pull, a hunger to explore new ways of sharing messages, new ways of being present with what wants to come through. And I can feel an internal shift happening in me. And Leo, I feel that some of you are experiencing something similar, not necessarily redecorating a room, but redecorating your inner world, reorganizing your priorities, reimagining your path, feeling the quiet click of your soul moving furniture around inside your spirit so the next version of you has space to breathe. Mercury retrograde, in its own mysterious way, is actually supporting this. It's supporting your exploration, supporting the search for what your soul is resonating with now. It's like you're composing a song layer by layer until it becomes the exact frequency that can carry you into the next chapter. And maybe you already have a song like that. Maybe lately there's been a track you keep returning to, one that takes you somewhere vast, like you're floating in the universe, like you're part of everything, like the edges of you dissolve and you remember that nothing is truly separate. If you have a song like that, share it, because sometimes a song passed from one person to another is spirit moving through community, using all of us to deliver pieces of medicine to each other. And that's what I feel with this card: intertwining, connection, a deeper awareness of the invisible threads, the ability to receive information, then translate it, communicate it, and share it in a way that helps others too. And again, Spirit keeps repeating something has worked for you. Something you did, worked. Something you set into motion took hold. So now we open the channel a little wider and pull a message from the other side just to see what wants to come through from that deeper realm. And what appears for you, Leo, is the wild rose. Even the name carries a feeling. Wild rose, untamed, honest, soft and fierce at the same time. And if roses, especially wild roses, hold any symbolism for you, if you've been seeing roses, dreaming of them, noticing them, it may not be random. Spirit often uses a simple symbol to anchor a big message. The wild rose speaks of untamed beauty, of passion and vulnerability woven together, not as opposites but as partners. It reminds you that love is not always gentle. Love is not always clean and orderly. Sometimes love is wild, unpredictable, full of contradictions that make it real. The calling for you today is this: let your love grow wild, unrestrained by expectations and free from judgment, because so often we try to make love neat. We try to package it into a version that's easy to understand, easy to explain, easy to control. But the wild rose asks for something truer: to love beyond idealized notions, to release the need for everything to be perfect, tidy, or instantly clear, to allow yourself to feel deeply and authentically, and to trust that it is in the messy, unrefined moments that real connection is born. And what I feel beneath this message is that something that once felt distorted, something that once felt confusing, scrambled, out of alignment, is beginning to rearrange itself back into order. Like fog thinning, like a lens being cleaned, like the truth becoming crisp again, not forced, not rushed, but naturally revealed. To close and seal your reading, we pull one final angel message and it comes through as number 3, connection. Leo, connection is your superpower. Not just through words, though you have power in language, but through the way you express energy, through your presence, through your body language, through the subtle ways you say, I see you, I feel you, I understand. And the message here is reassuring. It's all coming together for you. Everything is happening for the common good. Truth is being revealed in this situation, and you are moving towards successful projects outcomes that confirm you're on the right path. The energy color that comes forward is green, and you may have been noticing green more often lately. Green is the frequency of growth, of healing, of heart expansion. It's also linked to prosperity, abundance, and the kind of luck that arrives when you're aligned. A sign that what you're nurturing now has the potential to flourish. So take this as your message, Leo. You are not alone in this. You are connected like a forest beneath the surface. You are growing even if the process feels slow. You are being reorganized not to delay your life, but to refine it. And you are being invited to love with courage, wild, honest, free. And if this resonates, let it live somewhere in you for the days ahead. Let it be something you return to when Mercury retrograde tries to stir the air. Because the truth is, you're not breaking apart. You're coming together.